Andy, I read in the newspapers that the Crans, Montana fire broke out because oxygen entered through the broken windows and fueled the flames. But is that really the case?
This is one possibility that's being discussed, but in my opinion, it's not the most likely explanation. What the witnesses describe, in fact, is more consistent with a less intuitive but much more dangerous phenomenon, the so-called flashover.
What exactly is a flashover in practice?
Basically, it's the moment when, in a closed environment, a fire goes from being localized to engulfing the entire space. In a closed environment, in fact, heat builds up and materials start to release highly flammable gases. And when the temperature exceeds roughly 500 or 600 degrees, everything catches fire instantly.
Like an explosion?
No, it's more like a generalized combustion. In just a few seconds, the entire environment becomes a mass of flames. And unfortunately, it's almost always lethal for anyone inside.
So where does the idea of oxygen suddenly rushing in come from?
Well, that's another phenomenon known as backdraft. In that case, the fire is usually low on oxygen but rich in combustible materials. And when air suddenly enters the environment, there's a violent reignition, almost like an explosion.
So flashover and backdraft aren't the same thing?
No, absolutely not. Flashover is caused by a buildup of heat, while backdraft is due to a sudden influx of oxygen into the environment.
And in the case of Crans, Montana?
Well, in this case, since the fire occurred in an underground environment, some even say it was a former bunker, this makes backdraft not impossible, but obviously a bit less likely. The dynamic described, a very rapid development and an instant total involvement, is much more consistent with the effect of a flashover.
So what's the real lesson here?
That when a dangerous fire breaks out in an enclosed space, you should absolutely never just stand idly by and merely watch. In actual fact, a sudden and unpredictable fire can dramatically and quickly change its behavior in just a very few short seconds and without any prior warning whatsoever.
So don't let curiosity get the better of you or wait around.
Exactly, you need to immediately follow safety instructions and evacuate the area right away, because unfortunately fires are unpredictable. And once they break out, there's nothing more you can do. And that's it.